Hi guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel, Cooks by Carrie. If you're new here, I'm Carrie, and for today's video, I'm going to be sharing how to make these delicious rolled cookies. They are sugar cookies, and the recipe is from the Joy of Cooking cookbook. This recipe is super simple, and what I mean by rolled is that you can get nice shapes out of them. They don't spread when you bake them. So, without further ado, let's get into the video. For this recipe, you are going to need a cup of butter, 2/3 of a cup of sugar, 1 egg, 1 teaspoon vanilla extract. You can use almond too. For this, I chose to use vanilla bean paste because I wanted to see the specks of vanilla in my cookies, but you can totally just use any vanilla you have on hand. You're also going to need 2.5 cups of sifted all purpose flour, a half a teaspoon salt, and then a half a teaspoon of grated lemon rind, or a tablespoon of cinnamon, or 2 tablespoons of poppy seeds. I chose to go with the half a teaspoon grated lemon rind. And if you're wondering, well, aren't these just sugar cookies? Why do I have to put like some lemon rind in them? Well, you really can't taste it at all. The flavoring is so minimal that you can taste in the dough, but not really when they cook out. Alrighty. I also need to mention that for this first step, you need to have the butter at room temperature. Basically, what you want to do is beat the butter and the sugar until it's all light and fluffy. Now, I recently saw a video that told me that it's not truly light and fluffy until you mix it for like 5 minutes. So I went ahead and mixed it for about 5 or 6 minutes, and the cookies did turn out great, but I didn't notice a huge difference. So I think anywhere between maybe 3 to 6 minutes is about how long you want to be mixing. I'm going in with my hand mixer because I feel like it's easiest to show you guys what I'm doing. But you can also use a stand mixer, or if you're feeling like you got a lot of arm strength today and you want to use it, you could, in theory, use a whisk. So, one question or one thing I feel like I sometimes wonder in baking is, how do I get room temperature butter in a really short amount of time? Now, there are many different ways to do this. A lot of people say different things, but what I have found works best is you take your this is for 2 sticks of butter because this recipe calls for 1 cup. So basically, put them in the microwave, and then I'll do 5 seconds like laying them flat, 5 seconds standing up, 5 seconds laying the other way flat, and then like 5 seconds standing up the other way. And you just kind of repeat this process, kind of like rotating it in 5 second intervals until it's softer. Because you have to be careful, because sometimes if you when you melt it in the microwave or soften it, sometimes like parts of it will melt, but then other parts will be hard. So I found that kind of like rotating it every interval really helps it to become nice and smooth. And so, that's a really quick method. Another method that I is good, but I don't think it's as great as this one, is a lot of people, what they'll do is they'll heat a glass of water, or take a glass of water, heat it in the microwave, get it really hot, and then put the 2 sticks of butter like underneath the glass and then let it sit for 10 minutes. But to me, I'm a little impatient at that step, and I'm like, 10 minutes is still a pretty long amount of time. So I prefer this microwave in intervals method because it's just so fast and easy. So yeah, you're just gonna continue to mix it all up until it's all nice and smooth. And now to my butter mixture, I'm going to add in 1 egg and my vanilla and mix until it is all combined. So, one reason why I love this cookie recipe is that while there is a long chill time period, the cookies are really pretty simple to make, and I find it really fun that you can like cut out a bunch of different shapes, and it can be used for a lot of different occasions. So, in this video, I'll be doing like a black cat shape for like some Halloween themed cookies, but you can really use these cookies for anything. Now, in a separate bowl, I'm going to combine my flour with my lemon zest and the salt. And now it is time to combine the wet ingredients with the dry ingredients. So I just dumped in all of the dry ingredients into the wet and then began mixing with my mixer. Now, I haven't made these cookies in a while. So once they had finished mixing, I was like, why are they so, like, why is it so wet? Is it supposed to be a little bit thicker? But the thing is that they're going to chill in the fridge. So it's okay for the dough to be, like, very, and wet's not really the right word, but, soft, I guess. But they will firm up in the fridge. So it's completely normal for the dough to be like this. Now I'm going to take a piece of saran wrap. Now mine is a little bit of a weirder saran wrap, but anything like that. Saran wrap works best, but I guess if you didn't have it, you could use tinfoil. Just wouldn't work as well, but you could try it. And I'm just going ahead and plopping all the cookie dough down. Just going to wrap it up and then put it in the fridge to firm up for 3 to 4 hours. After 3 hours, I took the dough out and I began to roll it out. Now, what you're going to need for this step is a little bit of extra flour. Try to get a spoon so that you can put away any of the excess flour you have at the end. And also, I recommend if you have any jewelry on, any scrunchies, hair ties, watches, you take them off just because you don't want them to get dirty while you work with the dough. So yeah, I just began moving the flour all around, and then you can see that my dough did get a little creased up in the fridge from where I laid it. But basically, you're just gonna pull it out and roll it. Now I began rolling it out, and I realized that the dough was way too soft. That it was becoming really just sticking to the table and just really hard to work with. So I made the decision to let it be overnight in the fridge. Let it rest. That's what I meant. Or I guess firm up. Because you really, really want a hard dough here. If you have anything super soft, it's just not going to roll very well and it's just not going to end well. So I had to, unfortunately, wait overnight to finish the cookies. So I just kind of sped up this clip and I also cut a little bit, but I just want to show you here that you can see how little bits and pieces were definitely sticking to the table, and I was having to constantly like re-roll it out, and it just like was not going very well, and you can see it sticking to the rolling pin. And I tried to cut it out and it just like wasn't really cutting out, and I was like, you know what? I could go with this and then the cookies just wouldn't look as nice, or I could put them in the fridge and wait. So yeah, that's how I came to the decision. So if your cookie dough's looking a little bit like this, maybe you gotta put it in the fridge for more hours. And before I continue with this video, please subscribe, leave a thumbs up, comment down below what you'd like to see next, share this video with a friend, and hit that notification bell to get notified when I post a new video. I have a goal of 100 subscribers, so if you could please help me out with that'd be greatly appreciated. Alrighty, let's continue with this video. So the next day, I took my dough out of the fridge and began restarting the rolling and cutting process. So to start this process, I'm going ahead and using my rolling pin. Now I have set it to a larger thickness this time because I thought the cookies should be a little bit thicker than before. You're aiming for 1/5 of an inch, maybe a quarter, something like that. I mean, I did a 1/6, but I think you could go a little bit thicker if you wanted to. And what you saw me do here at the beginning was this indent process. That's just what I'm calling it, where you're basically making little marks with the rolling pin by just carefully and firmly pressing down so that it makes it easier to roll out the dough in the long run. Also, you'll notice that when I roll out my cookies this time, which is different than last time, is that I'm trying to move the dough off of the surface as little as possible because my rolling pin, it's not hot or cold, it's just neutral. So it's not going to warm up my dough as much as my hands are because, my hands are warm and then every time I touch the dough, it just gets warmer. And you really want to have like a firm, cold dough. That's the easiest way to get cookies rolled out. So I'm just going to repeat this process until the thickness is even all around. And if you've done a rolling pin like this, that's totally okay. Just kind of roll it out till you think it's about the same I was going to say width, length, I don't know. Height. That's what I'm looking for. Height all over. And then you can begin cutting out your shapes. I'm starting out with all circles, but then I will move on to do some cat shapes. And then I think I show this off camera or do this off camera, but I also went ahead and made some stars. But at this point, you can use whatever cookie cutter you want, whatever holiday or season or occasion you're making these for. If you don't have any cookie cutters at home, something you can do is take like a glass, like a small glass, and use that as a cookie cutter for some circles, or you can also maybe like cut out on a piece of paper a star and then use a knife and like cut out the cookies. So there's other ways too if you don't have any cookie cutters on hand. And this is just a tray to show you what the black cats, or I'm calling them black cats because that's just what makes me think of it, the shape in like Halloween. But they can really be any type of cats. Like I'll show little hint, there will be a future video on how to decorate cookies like this, and I will make some fun colors like orange and purple, so you can really make them whatever you want. And into the oven these cookies go. So I did put those in the fridge, the circle ones, while I was cutting out the other ones just to let them chill and firm up. So I do recommend doing that if you're making a lot of cookies. This recipe does make quite a few cookies. The recipe says around 60. I forgot to count, but it is something like that. And you're going to bake it at a 350-degree oven for 15 minutes. About. I mean, you start at 10 and check every 2. That's what I would say. And now it's time to take out the cookies. So this is after about 15 minutes for me. They were getting a little golden brown on the edges, which you kind of don't want that. You want them to be about the same color, so I could have pulled them out like a minute earlier. But this is going to be completely fine because since eventually we'll be decorating the tops, this is perfectly okay because no one will see the tops. But yeah, this is the beautiful cookies at the end. I was really happy with how they turned out, and they don't spread, as you can see, so you can really pack them onto the sheet. And they looked super cute. And here's a last little shot of some of the cookies I thought were so perfect. I'm pulling out 2 stars to show you the difference. So you can see that like one back is less brown and one back is more golden brown. You're aiming for the back that's a little not golden brown, that lighter one, because if you see the tips of the more golden brown bottom got golden brown. So you want something more like in my left hand. And that's it for today's video. Thank you all so much for watching. If you haven't already, please follow me on Instagram at Cooks by Carrie. I post lots of fun photos of the food I cook. And I will see you on Friday for a new Foodie Friday video. Little hint, it will be a video on royal icing, which pairs perfectly with these cookies, so look out for that. And until then, bye guys.